That was former President Donald Trump moments ago speaking to reporters after court finished for the day about the gag order that he has got against him. So far, the judge holding off on ruling whether or not Trump has violated that order. Let's bring in Kerri Urbahn, Fox News legal editor, just back from New York. So you spent the day yesterday, what there was of it, in court, watching all of the proceedings. You've been watching it all today, and you are still left with the same question, and that is?
What is the crime? I sat there thinking, I don't know what the crime is. Former number 3 from DOJ was presenting or opening arguments on behalf of the state, which also was very surprising, by the way. And he was saying, this is election fraud, pure and simple. And I sat there thinking, well, what's election fraud exactly? Because one, entering into a non-disclosure agreement is not illegal. It's not. Whether it's with a porn star or anyone else, maybe it's seedy, maybe it's unseemly, but it's not. Secondly, catch and kill schemes, which people in the media do, which is to buy the rights to a story and then choose not to publish it, they're also not illegal. So those are the kinds of things we're talking about in this case. So I'm not quite sure. I don't really understand.
And then there was the payments to Cohen, the reimbursements to Cohen, which weren't made until after he was president. And Cohen was paid way more than Cohen ever laid out to keep Stormy Daniels quiet.
He was. Now the state would say, well, that was part of their elaborate cover-up. But again, what's the cover-up? Because paying someone in return for an NDA is not illegal. And then labeling it in a ledger as a legal expense, well, isn't it a legal expense? What else would you say it is? Other than if the state, I guess, wants him to say reimbursement for X, Y, and Z. But it's also unclear, and I think the defense team is arguing this, that Trump even knew how it was labeled in the book. Apparently it was made by somebody else, a lower-level associate at Trump Tower, who was told to do so by her boss. So again, this just leaves us with what is the problem exactly?
Yeah. All right. So the other big issue in all of this is the gag order against Trump, and he doesn't like it at all. Here's what the Wall Street Journal opinion said about it. So the witness can go on national TV and call the defendant a liar, but the defendant can't reply that the witness is a liar. The asymmetry doesn't bolster the trial's integrity or its sense of fairness. How is it possibly fair in modern society for everybody else to say everything that they want about this case, but the guy who's on trial can't?
I don't know, and the fact that Michael Cohen continues to speak out, I think he did so even yesterday about Donald Trump. He has a podcast where he talks about Donald Trump, apparently obsessively, and yet no gag order imposed against him. And Trump makes an interesting argument about this is an unconstitutional restraint of political speech, because what he argues, and I think it's an interesting argument, is that everything he's saying right now is political, because this is only happening to him because he's running for president, and everything matters, and we all know that when you're running for office, everything you say matters for a campaign. And it's interesting, let's not forget the ACLU, no friend of Donald Trump's, last year in the civil fraud trial filed an amicus brief also arguing that a gag order against Trump was unconstitutional and a problem.
Oh, they've got to be consistent. They can't always be political. There was another development in the documents case, and that is that the judge released 400 pages of investigative records, among them an interview with a Trump associate who apparently warned Trump, give the stuff back. This person is quoted as saying, whatever you have, give everything back. Let them come here and get everything. Don't give them a noble reason to indict you, because they will. There was also a minute-by-minute timeline of the FBI search and an FBI memo that memorializes the fact that Merrick Garland signed off on this being elevated to a full investigation.
Yeah, this is just really unfortunate in terms of it being an unnecessary and unforced error by the former president. That advice that he was given by whomever was interviewing with the FBI was correct. Just give them the documents back. It's not worth it.
You surprised me with what the original archives request was for, and it was for 3 things.
They only wanted 3 things. This is how this all began, which is why it's really unfortunate that this is how where it's gotten to. They asked for the Kim Jong-un letter. Remember that letter? They asked for a letter that former President Obama had left in the White House for President Trump on his first day, which is tradition. And then third, there was a map during the Hurricane Dorian. You probably were sitting there.
He drew on with a Sharpie.
That he drew on with a Sharpie.
I was in the Oval Office that day.
So they only asked for those 3 things. And for months, Trump and his team gave them the runaround. And so as they were doing that, the people at the archives got frustrated and thought, oh, well, there must be other stuff. Wait, we think there's classified information too. Turns out there was. And then this all led to a subpoena, which led to a raid, and here we are.
So this all started with 2 letters and a hurricane forecast map.
Yep.
Wow. Kerri, that's why we love having you on. You give us all this fabulous information.